So today we are talking about annual planning, and there's many ways how to do it. And this is something, and I have actually tried many different frameworks as well, but based on the ones that I've been looking at, this is actually the easiest one, and also the most flexible ones. And so this is what I'm at least currently calling this: how to do annual planning the right way. Now, of course, this is actually the pretty much same presentation I did last year and the year before that. So I think I originally did this 2 years ago. So, but once every time you kind of like realize different things, so it has some of the tweaks and all. That's the whole point, to just continuously improve and continuously find things that actually make the whole thing better. So, but I really think that that it makes more sense to start with two questions. We should, if you are thinking about, okay, what should we achieve today, achieve this year? What should we actually be focusing on this year? We need to have some data first, because it's so easy to get lost in the details. That I mean, let's launch products and let's build a multi-million-dollar business, and aim hit these and these revenue goals and whatnot. But anyway, I mean, that's all fine and dandy, and that is something that we should be doing. But first, I think we also need to answer a couple of questions that really help to build the foundation. And these actually make a big impact on motivation as well. So first question is like, why? Okay, so why do you do what you do? So why is it that we're doing this Amazon FBA business? What's the underlying reason? And it's not because we just want to have something to do. Obviously, no. And no, it's not enough to say that, I just want to make money. But okay, fine, you want to make money, but why? Like, if you have the money, then what are you going to do? What is it? What's really the thing that drives the motivation and so on? So here it's good to think about, okay, what kind of life you want to have, and the better picture you have, I mean, the easier it's gonna turn those visuals into your reality, meaning that you have certain perceptions that, okay, this is how my life should be. And okay, for me, for example, was that I want to be able to live in different countries, not just travel and visit, but actually be able to move into California, be able to have the kind of lifestyle that actually I want to have, be able to spend more time with my family and friends, and be really have the full control of the time that how I'm actually using my time. But second thing is that, I mean, good for you. You have this reason that you want to, like, the reason that you want to do this. Fine, okay, but what value do you actually provide? And with you, it means that your company, what value does our business provide to the world? Like, what is the reason that it should even exist? So, I mean, Zig Ziglar said it well, this marketing guru, that I mean, if you can dream it, then you can achieve it. You will get all you want in life if you have enough other people get what they want. And funny thing is, I was reading this interview with this what's his name, the actor who plays Thor. So he's Australian actor, and he, you know, before the Marvel series, before playing Thor, he was already like big. He was a I mean, a successful actor in Australia. I think he played in some soap operas or whatever. But anyway, then he tried to get into Hollywood to succeed in US as well. But you know, he was really struggling. Really, I mean, when he went to all these different castings, and he was always thinking that, oh, okay, I'm gonna do the uh, best version of this script, and you know, say it like this and that and blah blah blah. But you know, he just getting rejections all the time, and then he kind of realized that maybe I need to change my approach. So he started doing that. Okay, I'm not going to be focusing on how I want to play this part. No, I'm actually going to be focusing what the director actually wants out of this part. So after making this change, I mean, being more obsessive on, you know, being helping pretty much the director to, you know, get what he actually wants from these roles. So in castings, he mentioned that immediately it had big impact because he wasn't focused on just, you know, reading the script in such a way that, yeah, I'm gonna get the part. No, he was just 100% focused on, okay, what does the director in the castings, what do they actually want from this role? And it really, you know, needless to say, it was successful, and he ended up being, you know, casted to play Thor as well, which was pretty decent win for him. And another example from him was that, you know, he was thinking what can he do. I mean, there was a break from movies and whatever, but he was thinking that, okay, what could he actually do? Because you know, his hobbies was working out and you know, having healthy diet or whatever. So then he actually created this application which helps you to build your like workout program, what kind of workouts to do, what kind of diet to do, and whatever. And then, I mean, it had the same approach, that he was more focused on, you know, helping other people's with this application, which turned out to be another success in his track record. Yeah, so that's actually good focus for us to do, is that, okay, if we are thinking about building a new brand or new product or whatever, so what is the value we actually give? And don't focus only on the brand, and don't focus only on the company, but actually for every single product should provide value. And it's not just that, okay, we are the cheapest price or the best product. No, what is actually the value that that we provide for the end users, right? Yeah, so regarding planning, I mean, there's a saying this, that most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. And that is spot on, because imagine if you commit to something for 10 years, I mean, it can have like drastically, I mean, so big things can be accomplished in 10 years if with consistency and with focus, right? But yeah, regarding planning, I mean, most common mistakes, and I mean, I'm not on a high horse. I don't pretend to be able to avoid, because I mean, these are actually some mistakes that I also do, even after doing planning for, I don't know, years and years, decade or whatever. Still, I mean, I find myself to be guilty of this as well. So it happens. So best thing is to be actually aware of it, so it's possible to avoid it as well. So one thing is that, yeah, make it too big, detailed, which would mean the task level, and which is, or even just plain crazy plans, and not really understanding what getting the end result really requires. For example, okay, you want to hit $10 million in revenue, but currently your product sells for $10. Okay, then that means that you need to sell 1 million products And if the cost of goods sold is $3 per unit, okay, then during the year, you would actually need to invest $3 million in inventory. So is that realistic? Is that even possible to do? Then losing focus, getting lost in the details, just doing too many things at the same time. And this is actually applies to so many of us that, okay, we start something. Actually, there was there's like good kind of saying about this as well, that the most common way that how successful people fail is how successful people actually lose everything is that they do something for years or for consistently and get really good at it and get really successful, and when they are already successful, then they start doing something else. So they at least like move their focus. Maybe they don't abandon the business, but at least they move their focus, and then they crumble down. And yeah, that can really happen. And then not accounting and adapting to change, because we all make nice plans, but then life happens, and then we realize that this is not realistic anymore. So we need to modify our plans. We need to reflect and consider that maybe and sometimes it might be that this is realistic, but we completely underestimated the resources that we need to be. For example, this one about this inventory. Okay, I want to hit $10 million in sales, and currently my product sells for $10, so I need to have $3 million in inventory. Okay, so then we should reflect that. Okay, so what do we need to do things differently? So, okay, what if we actually would be able to increase the price of this? Are we able to increase the revenue price? Because that means that we are able to hit it with, we don't even need to have more units. We would be able to have less units, but just increase the price, right? Yeah. And yeah, the further we are away from something, the more difficult is to estimate something. So when we start something, the amount of uncertainty is the highest, and then the closer we get to the more we progress, and once we get to the end, and then we realize, okay, this is how we should have done it in the beginning, right? And especially in the IT, in the software industry, there's this concept of that, once you finally complete the project, then at that time, that would be actually the best time to start the same projects again, because now you know everything. Now you know that how it should have been done. Now you know that, oh man, we just went to the wrong direction in the beginning. So we should have done with this and this and this. Yeah. But anyway, so here what we can actually do is just to figure out things that what can we do to really decrease the uncertainty? What can we do to increase our knowledge and be able to have more knowledge about the thing, just to decrease uncertainty and minimize the areas that what we don't know, right? Okay, anyway, let's talk about the process. So step number one is, okay, define where you want to get. Define how it actually looks like. And figure out the pathway. How do you actually get there? What do you actually need to do? Then tracking. Oops. We lost the screen, just a sec. All right, now you should be able to see it. Yeah. So we have to track things, because otherwise, we have no knowledge is that, are we on track or not? Are we able to actually meet the goals that we defined in the first place? So that is why it's super essential. So, okay, so step number one, define where you want to go. So what are the questions that we need to ask? So, okay, it's January and we want to be at a certain place in December of this year. So, okay, but what is it? Where do you want to be after 1 year from now? And let's keep in mind that most common mistake is that you overestimate what you can do in 1 year, and then you underestimate what you can do in 5-10 years. So I mean, let's just be realistic, because it's only 12 months or 52 weeks or 365 days or 8,000 hours of, and if you're talking about the work time per person, I mean, it's just going to be less than 2,000 if you are like working like the regular thing that it's 40 hours per week. And then let's talk about like past weeks we have been talking about on the course that, okay, how much productive time we actually have. So let's say that it's 4 hours per day real productivity. Oops, then it's only like, it already cut down to half, less than or more than half. So 960 hours. So, I mean, it's not that much. 1 year isn't really that long. It's like this amount of, I mean, less than 1,000 hours. If you have only 1,000 hours, then either we have to be like super effective, super like efficient, or then we have to realize that this is not enough time to to change the world, right? So how does the end result look like? What are the market trends and problems? Like, let's say that we are looking at the product category we are right now, like not the top category, but the subcategory. Like, is the trend going up? Are the prices decreasing? Are there some changes coming up that could actually drastically change this market? So what's happening? And what are the different upcoming trends? What are the actually threats that could impact the niche that we are, or the product that we're selling? So, and let's just make it simple, and just like one sentence, like in one sentence, where do you want to be after 1 year from now? So, for example, okay, I am an Amazon FBA business. I can sell for 7 figures. So that's pretty simple to understand. That's easy to understand, all right? So, okay, now we define this, the end result. After 1 year, you have an Amazon FBA business that you can sell for 7 figures. So step number 2 is, how does it actually look like? So 7-figure business, what does it mean? Well, it could mean that you want to get $1 million in cash for the business. So, okay, fine. You want to get $1 million in cash for your business. So, okay, well, what does that mean? Then let's do some calculations. Okay, so, and here it's it's good to be like super realistic, not thinking that, yeah, I mean, the brand that I'm going to build, it's going to be just super amazing, and the buyers are going to pay top price for it just because it's my brand. No. I mean, it's much better to be overly modest and overly even a bit negative about it. So $1 million, someone pays you $1 million in cash for your business. So what could it mean? So let's say that it's $1 million annual revenue and 300K in profit. Well, not profit, but sellers discretionary earnings. And with a really like modest multiplier. No, it's just 3.5, which means the valuation of the business. Okay, so if you have this, then if you meet these targets, then it means that you can get like $1 million in cash for the business. Okay, fine. So is it realistic within 12 months? What is the key metric that gets you there? And sure, it could be amount of new products, or it should be something else. And do you have the resources to make it happen? Yeah, I mean, is it really what you want? So if you get to this point, is that something that you want to have, and is it something that you're willing to commit to? Meaning, because typically, I mean, there are some certain sacrifices you need to possibly do. So are you willing and able to do what is required? Meaning that you actually pay the price. So let's talk about like, what do I need to do to get to my destination? So in terms of resources. So in this kind of Amazon FBA business, what are the things that we need to consider? We need to consider inventory, budget, team, professionals, meaning that, okay, you use some, for example, services or experts or whatever. Then skills, your own skills, your team skills, and so on. So these are the different resources that we need to take into consideration when we are thinking that, do you have the resources to make it happen? And second thing to consider is that, okay, fine, now I know that, okay, these are the things that I need to have. So who do I actually have to become to get to my destination? And okay, sure, it could sound a bit we are thinking that, oh, okay, this is some kind of spiritual stuff that I need to transform as a person or whatever. No. I mean, you are just thinking about in concrete terms, meaning that in terms of leadership, like unless, or I mean, even if you don't have anyone, even if you're working alone on your business, it still comes to like how you're like leading yourself. And what about productivity? Like, how do you need to manage your time? Habits. What kind of habits you need to have in your day? What about health? We shouldn't sacrifice our health just to meet our goals. Meaning that, okay, let's say that we meet this goal of getting $1 million in cash for the business. But what if your health deteriorates? Like, I mean, would it be worth it? It's probably not worth it if rest of our lives we are like we risk our health and we don't have anything. We need to, be in a hospital or something like this. Then relationships. Okay, relationship with your not just your family, but friends, business partner, and so on. Work-life balance. I mean, we could do work like Elon Musk and do something like, crazy days. Let's just work like 14 hours every single day. But how long are you able to keep it up? Probably another year. So which sacrifices are you willing to make? And pretty much all of these we could sacrifice in short term, meaning that, okay, let's say that we need to work more, so we need to skip going to the gym, which means that, okay, we are sacrificing health. In one way, I mean, it wouldn't really make sense because going to the gym and working out, I mean, it can actually give you more energy, so you would be more able to work harder. So that might not actually make sense. But what about relationships? So what about if for the next year, I mean, let's just not spend any time with friends, or let's just spend for the next year, next 6 months or whatever, I mean, less time with family, spouse, or whatever. Okay, fine. So if we realize that this is something that we need to do, then are you actually willing to do it? And are you willing to, let's say, okay, you have a day job, so are you willing to wake up earlier and just go to sleep later, just to be able to have more time for yourself, for your business? So it's good to consider these things. So, and the thing is that, I mean, the more clear picture you create, the easier it will be. And here, I mean, it's just fine to go nuts with details. I mean, here it's perfectly fine to, get as many details as possible, because then we have better understanding of the sacrifices that we need to do. And by the way, I'm not saying that you have to or you don't have to do this. No, I'm just giving you kind of the idea that this is a good thing to consider, that what does it actually take? What is the price that we might have to pay in order to in order to get to the goal, whatever it is. Okay, anyway, so we already know step, like, where do we want to go, and what does it actually know in reality. But what about the pathway? What about actually getting there? So we know where we want to be in a year from now, and we know what we need to kind of sacrifice and so on. But okay, then we need to break it down. And these objectives and key results, I mean, we have been using it for some years, and at least so far it's been the best approach that I've used in terms of having this kind of structure that gives you, stretch goals, makes you like is able to push you the harder for the hit the goals and everything, but also in that sense that it's not too rigid. It doesn't break down if things actually change, which has been the case of many other systems that I personally used. So objective and key results. And by the way, one reason of it is that it is this combination of being inspirational and also being concrete, numerical, and so on. So it's a goal setting framework that just helps define goals and track the outcome. So really to establish these far-reaching goals in days instead of months. And so objective means what I want to have accomplished. So it's something inspiring. And then key result means that, okay, how I'm going to get it done. So how do I know when it's due? How do I know that when I've actually achieved something? So it's specific and measurable. So, once we have a goal, it can be a bit challenging to know that when we are doing something. Yeah, so I was just saying that once we start, let's say once we do have this goal, and we have decided that, okay, that's where we're going to go. It's kind of hard to sometimes think that, is this really like when you start like writing goals for next week, which means that we are still pretty far away from the end goal, meaning that, okay, it's still almost 1 year until. So does it still, like, are we doing the things that actually are helping us to get to the goal? Or is this something that, we need to do this, but it doesn't really move us that much closer to the goals? Like, sure, I could say that it kind of does. It kind of helps us get there, but not really. So that's the reason why it actually makes often more sense to start from the end and just go backwards instead. So let's say in the last quarter, like after 1 year, I mean, we defined that, okay, you want to have this 7-figure business, meaning that offer, someone would pay 1 million. Like, let's say that, okay, what makes this true? So we could say that we have this objective that I have an Amazon FBA business that I can sell for 7 figures. So key result could be that, okay, fine, I have an offer from a buyer to buy my business for $1 million. I mean, that's pretty concrete, right? If we have an offer, then we know that the business is valued at 7 figures, right? Okay, what could be the, if we take another step backwards from that, like we can think that the one step is that 1 quarter, so 3 months, 90 days. So the thing is that we don't want to really be numerical here, because here we are doing the objective, like what is it that I want to have accomplished. And it's also like inspiring, meaning that it needs to be something that gives us a reason to, get out of bed. That's pretty much it. So, and the interesting thing is that nobody else can tell you that, is this inspiring or is it not inspiring? So, I mean, for me, it could be my products are crossing the marketplace, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's inspiring for you. But still, when you go 90 days backwards from this, it needs to make sense. It needs to be part of the bigger picture. So how could you actually measure this? If we are saying that, yeah, my products are really crossing the marketplace, okay, fine. So how do you know? Well, I know because I ranked each product to top 3 on the main keywords every market and shipped all units for rest of the year. And here, okay, you could argue that why do you want to say that, why would you include these units, shipping all units? Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. You could make it different because, it's not good to just combine a million different things into one, but it's also not to have a long list. You don't want to have a task list or goal list that, has 10 different items, because it's just gonna be distracting. So, okay, another 90 days backwards. So where do we want to be? Amazon FBA business that can be sold for 7 figures. So that's December. 90 days before that, okay, the products are crossing the marketplace. And 90 days before that, then, okay, I have products and a team to support me. And again, this has to be the reason why you cannot write your objectives, for example, to your team members, is that you don't know what is inspiring to them. You don't know. So that's why, like, when I'm doing this with my team, I mean, the team members are the ones who are writing these objectives to themselves. So I'm not the one telling them that, hey, this is your objective. No. I mean, they have to do it. And of course, I'm going to say that, I mean, your objective is too small, it's too big, or it doesn't make sense. I mean, obviously, I'm going to give them feedback, but they are the ones who need to write it, because they are the ones who need to be inspired and motivated by it. So, okay, let's say I have products and the team to support me. Okay, cool. So how do you know? How do you know when this is true? Key result could be that, okay, I have virtual assistants growing the business and have shipped X amount of products to these marketplaces, so that it's measurable and specific. Another 90 days back, okay, I have a pathway to build $1 million brand, meaning that at the end of March, I know that what are the specific things that I need to have in place for the rest of the year. I know what are the things, I know what kind of products to launch, I know what kind of like things, I know about the marketplaces, about the brands, about the categories, about the product opportunities. So pathway, meaning that you just know what needs to be done. And meaning that I have a business plan and set up for $1 million valuation based on buyer expectations. Meaning that, it can be, even though this, valuation is a numerical thing, like we saw before. But still, I mean, someone could just say that, yeah, I mean, I have this and this amount of valued business. But you know, I mean, when we think about our own work, we are never objective. We are super subjective about our own work, about our own businesses, about our own brands and whatever. So that's why, you know, we need to have these expectations that that the valuation has to be like neutral, and it actually makes much more sense to start from the buyer expectations and then like going backwards from there. By the way, do you have any questions? Just let me know. But next, okay, so, and the thing is that it doesn't make sense to go crazy at this point. Like, let's say that we would do this crazy strategic planning and whatever, and okay, then if something changes, then it often means that now we need to change the whole plan, and oh my god, now we need to do another planning and do things like put a lot of more effort into it, which might suck. So this is why this framework works really nicely, at least so far. So step number 4, tracking. You know, we plan something, we execute something, then we review it, and then we identify what are the things we need to improve, and then we plan again. So step number 4 is about how do we actually do it in practice. And of course, it's on different levels, like what do we need to do in a day, in a week, in a month, in a quarter, right? So in a weekly, it just means that the weekly planning that we do, so planning, review, retrospective based on a week. And basically, some people are sometimes asking, what's the point of a retrospective? Like, I find the retrospective completely pointless, so that's why I never do it. Okay, but fine, then that's how you see things, but in one way you are actually leaving out the most crucial element, meaning to improve. So how can you improve if you don't know what you need to improve? And it also works for motivation, meaning that if you realize that you have done something well, then, you know, you should definitely like celebrate it, even if it's small thing, because, you know, small things turn to big things, and it will give you so much inspiration and energy to go continue working. And, you know, you cannot fail if you don't quit. So if you keep on progressing, then it's just only a matter of time when you actually succeed. So I would say that anyone who leaves like retrospective out of the equation is making like a big mistake. And then, I mean, like what often happens is that, okay, something happens, something changes in the marketplace, something changes with our product listing, something changes with our brand, or something changes whatever. I mean, then it might be that, okay, fine, now we need to change well, not necessarily change, but now we need to refine our goals. Now we need to refine the annual planning. So it's much better. And the thing is that we look at these, and the team look at these or sees the like OKRs every single day. So it's not just like quarterly. No. It's something that they should be looking at every week, every quarter, because every day, because, you know, when you do planning, everyone should be looking at, okay, what was my objective for this quarter? Because, you know, what we realize that often happens is that if you don't if you don't like keep attention on the OKR, then what usually happens is that first month, I mean, nothing is done for the objective. Second month, the people start realizing maybe middle of the month that, oh yeah, I had this objective. And then third month is the time that they actually really start working on it, which doesn't make any sense, because you should be working, because if it's enough important, if it's important enough to be your objective, it's something that you start doing from day one, not on day 60, right? Then once the quarter passes, then we just review the past OKRs, basically assigning scores or marking them as done, not done, and then plan the upcoming OKRs, meaning that we just break down like on a more like monthly, weekly level, right? Then it's good practice to do this retrospective based on a quarter, because the difference here is that why would you need to do retrospective on a quarter? Because you're already doing it on a week. Well, the reason is that because then the focus is on a different time span. So now you're looking at 90 days instead of just last week. So when you're looking at the past 90 days, so what did we mess up? What did we do well that we should discuss if you don't forget? So what are the things that we should improve in the next 90 days? And so on. Then, modifying the annual planning if needed. So basically, if we take an example that, okay, now we have our annual planning. So now we are starting week number 1. So we break down the quarter to weeks. And it doesn't mean that we do, actually this is a bit easy to misunderstand. It doesn't mean that we break down it to like the whole quarter. No, not the whole quarter, but just enough for us to know that what are the things that we should be doing this week, next week, and so on. Then daily synchronization with the team, to have accountability to be able to solve any issues and so on. Then review. Thank you, Siri. Then review if everything was done as expected after the week. Retrospective, find things to improve for next week. Then, modify plan if needed. And here, the key is also like being specific. Like I also seen examples where people say that the daily huddle is so boring and blah blah blah. We are not talking daily anymore because it's just so boring, and we are just doing the daily huddle once a week. Okay, it doesn't, like, the reason why it can become boring if there's no specifics, meaning that if people just saying that I was working on this and it's fine, and tomorrow I'm gonna work on this. No, you need to give specifics. You need to give more data. Like every team member needs to say what exactly did they do, and what kind of issues are they having, are they on track on meeting the goals that they have. So let's say, okay, I have a pathway to build $1 million brand. I have a business plan and set up for $1 million valuation based on buyer expectations. So at the end of the quarter, you just basically mark those as it's done or not done, or it can be some numerical value. So it really depends on what kind of key result it is. And talking about the annual plan, it really has to be on one slide. So end result, I have an Amazon FBA business. I can sell for 7 figures, meaning that in numerical values, it means this sort of revenue, profit, this sort of multiplier. And it's much better to be conservative about these numbers. So that that we are much more likely to be accurate when we actually hit it. So let's see all these things on the slide. So products are crossing the marketplace. I have a business that I can sell for 7 figures. And I would say about this like financial forecast, like I can see that like many people are adding these adding numbers here, meaning that okay, so this quarter I'm gonna hit this X amount of revenue, and then next I'm gonna hit 100K per month, and then 150K, and well, I don't see that really as a smart thing to do, because this kind of like financial forecast, finance targets, I mean, it's something that you should do in any case. So if you put those as key results, it will lead to turning blind eye to other important things. And another mistake I see is that, and I have done it myself too, that just having too many key results. And, we also have made the mistake that, we used to have like company OKRs, then we have team OKRs, then we have individual OKRs, and everyone has like 5 different OKRs. Then it's just too much, and it's not helpful at all. And if it's not helpful, if it's actually not making us a team more to get more right things done, then we should immediately drop it. So having too many things is just harmful, and it really like disrupts this focus. And same thing about this task list, like I'm sure like I mean, it's not effective to have a task list that has 100 different items. No, I mean, it just means that okay, first of all, okay, how do you know that what are you gonna do like today, like right now? You probably don't know, so you just start from the top, or then you just start from some randomly if they are not organized in a certain way. So fine, it's something, I can see it's a thing that a lot of people do, but I mean, would you call it as effective or productive? No, I mean, of course not. And yeah, I mean, time goes fast. Don't overestimate. And because the thing is that it's not about the plan. I mean, like I said before, that we make plans and then life happens. So that's a common thing, that everything, it's a common mistake, like I mentioned in the beginning, that okay, you create this fantastic plan, but then we realized that something happens, and now we are not able to hit that plan anymore. So what are you going to do at that point? So it's really not about the plan. It's more about getting the right stuff done. And in the beginning, we don't necessarily know what is the right things that we should be doing at the given time. Like I mentioned in the beginning, we had the amount of uncertainty is the highest. So that's where actually this whole planning process helps. Like here, when we look at the slide that I showed in the beginning about this amount of uncertainty, like if we know that it's actually like this, what can we do to start minimizing and maybe actually accelerating this curve here, meaning that it doesn't go so slowly to decrease. It actually, how can we make it so that it goes faster, meaning that the amount of uncertainty decreases faster? So one thing is that we actually do planning. So I mean, just imagine that we do only one planning. We do it at the beginning of the project. That probably means that we are going to be missing out on so many different things, and it probably means that okay, once we get to the end of the year, we might still be pretty far away from it, because there was just too many things that we didn't account for. So instead, what we could do is that okay, we have planning. So okay, but maybe we have planning more frequently. So maybe what if we had it like every 6 months? Okay, it's better. What about every month? Okay, what about like every week? And then then there's the area of focus. Or are we focusing on this week or next week, or are we actually focusing on the 90 days, like every quarter? So planning is a tool, it's a way how we can actually decrease this uncertainty, and how we can really learn faster, and how we can actually make sure that we are able to hit our goals faster. So that's really the way or approach that I have it. Like, planning is just a tool. It helps focusing on the right things pretty much like 24/7, because when we start the day, then we already know what are the things that we should be doing right now at this given time, so that we get closer to the end goal. So then it's just a matter of rinse and repeat.